wanted to break out some of the stuff. I've had this stuff for years, my Boganato pole and my other clamp. So now we can get a better eye view of what I'm doing. So let me go ahead and reset this on the new purchase and get on with it. One thing I wanted to do too was check to see that my center line here is actually equal. Bring out my little protractor, isn't, compass doesn't. Compass, and yes, they're both the same. So my center line is true. Okay, now I can transfer that measurement over here to establish on my bulkhead panel the edges. Let me go ahead and do that and we'll come back. I have the boat level, the 4-foot levels down about at the beam area, and I've got another little guy here. I had my clamp over here, but it's just the weight is holding it down. So as long as I'm pinching it, it's working fine. So I've got my sliding bevel gauge set up, and remember, it's not going to be down like this. We're going to have a slight angle to it. So I'm going to set in here, and I'm even across, and I'm on the edge. I'll use this one as my angle, and let's check to see how even that's going to be on the other side. Close enough. Now I'll take this angle and transfer it over to the edges that we've got already marked out here for our overall side, which would be like that. And so I'll put that there, flip it over because I'm reasonably certain that it's the same on the other side, and put in another line here, and I'll get another straight edge and expand those on down, and then use this. I'm gonna do a majority of the outline and depth, and then I'll use a spiling stick on it. Right now I just want to get an idea of what it's going to look like on cardboard with all the angles and lines and stuff. So we'll come back. My camera keeps dying on me. I have no idea what's going on here. Then I took a measurement along here from the top, and it came out equal distance on both sides, so I knew these angles were coming in pretty consistent. So that gave me this turning point in the hull right here. So then I could take this distance, projected from the side to projected in the center line, and check it on both sides, and then transfer it over from this corner that I knew I had right here down to the center line. And it was the same on both sides as I come around here, you can see, hopefully. And then I drew another line, 1/4 of an inch, that's the orange one here, 1/4 inch down from what I think it is, because we're going from fillet to fillet, and those fillets are higher. So if you draw the center line of the fillet, the center line of fillet, you're always going to come up thin, have a big gap in between here. So you extend on beyond that line here down, because then that'll get you into the center lines. As you can, I don't know if you can see there or not, that's what we're doing. Here's the fillet that I measure to, but the actual keel line for these side lines up here is lower. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this out and see how my spiling stick does. I have my spiling stick out, have my projected marks where the corners are going to be. I'll go ahead and set in on that point there on my center line and make a mark, come over to the center line, make a mark, come back to the other side, and it's on the same one. So you see the mark here is the same on the mark on both sides. And then we'll come with that one to our center line up here, and we're down on the corner on both sides to where we're in right on the inside of the fillet. But we need to cut out bigger because the fillet stands prouder than the angle going into it. And then we had the, which one's the center line here? And it's down to the top of the flat fillet we put in. So I'm cool there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out and we'll dry fit it. we had this part cut out and set in. There were some gaps around the edge because of, I mean, just the way of trying to get these things off the side with the angles, and it's not quite everything is right, and it's not like first order surveying. But there's another way around. That's the other method. Just taking some, cut out some cardboard strips and then fit each one to the area. You'd say, okay, I got a little bit of a, it's a little too long there. Let me go ahead and bring it down in length so it's closer to the fit. At least it's not under the gunnels. And then I could take my, either the pencil with the thread bobbin on it, or I could use my pencil and just start getting a closer fit. And once I'm happy that I'm into the corner here, then I can take the pencil on the back side here. That'll be my height. And then I cut that off and then tape it in place. And the next one then will be fitted over the top of it all the way around. So now I've got this panel, and I'm using some tape here to hold it down in place at the angle I want. So now I have a template. I can add a little bit of extra tape to the back sides just to make it a little more secure. And then I can take this and lay it on a good piece of cardboard and then cut that out, which I'm going to do right now. Okay, I got my straight edge clamped down here, so I have the one straight edge that I need on top, because I found this my piece underneath has got a little bit of bow to it. So we'll go ahead and clamp this down on the corners on the line, because I know that these upper corners here are the ones I'm going to have. So then we'll just come along and cut that out and fit that in. It's I need to do a little bit of change over here. Let me fine tune this corner down here a little bit. Okay, let me cut it out and come back. Now I've got the panel cut out along the lines, and we'll go in and see what little fit we got. Pretty good. Pretty good. Let me go ahead and tape this to the other one so this becomes a straight line, but you'll also notice that I've gone to a shorter tank. The other one that I had here was much bigger. I'm going to go with just small air tanks on this hull, as opposed to making it, those big hatches with kayak. Like I said before, if I'm going to go into rough water, I'll just fill up the interior with those big inflatable airbags you use in whitewater canoes. Or if I'm going to camping, like I do in my long distance canoe camping trips, I just fill it up with waterproof bags. And then when you're camped, everything is still nice and, you can take the waterproof bags and run them up a tree to keep the raccoons and stuff away from them. And keep the weight down. I want to keep the weight down on this. So we'll go to the smaller tanks, and I'm probably going to chop that one we've already set up earlier down to where it's about 18 inches long. So I'll get at least probably a couple cubic feet of volume in the stern, and then this is probably more than a cubic foot, so that'll give me about 150, 160 pounds of flotation by the air chamber. So there is another way to do it. Much simpler than the way I was doing it with all those angles and the other kinds of tools and these kinds of things. It's just, all you need is some scissors and tape, and if you don't get it right the first time, when you make the first one of these, then just add some cardboard around the edges some lighter weight cardboard and fill any gaps that you got. If you need to do that, then tape it in place and then transfer that over to a new piece of cardboard. And, you know, the cardboard's a lot cheaper than plywood. And you get an entire fit, so you're not, when you do make your fillets in here, you'll have nice joints in. And I will be using fillets only. I won't be glass taping these seams, so I'm going to use a bigger, deeper fillet on the corners because I can sand those down and make them pretty. But then I may tape it, who knows. I probably will tape this seam here just for some extra support, and I'm going to have to put a piece of hardwood underneath here too to keep the bending action down. And it's big enough, I'm going to have to figure out, I think probably a 4-inch hatch in here. A little quarter-turn hatch will be more than plenty for any kind of storage you'd have in here. So we'll be back. Okay, I'm going to do the hatch. I've scaled this thing back from the long one that came out to about in here. I'm going to go to the shorter one, and apologize for the darkness. One of my lights doesn't want to come on. It's damn weather we've been having. It just doesn't like it. So I've already got one template cut out on the side. We're going to do this the easy way, and we're going to, let's see if I marked it. Yes, I have. So I run a pencil in behind, so I'll be able to mark its location. And I'll go ahead and put a piece of tape on it. Actually, it's going to be out a little bit. I want some angle to it. I find that they're stronger when they're beveled out a little bit. And put this one in. And we're fitting. Get up here. It's settling down on me. Now that's okay. And then I'll go ahead and put a little arc in here. It should be a little longer, but that's fine. Let me do see if it fits on the other side. Close enough. I'll make another one to match up the angle. So now I have one on each side. Sometimes it helps to put a little bit of tape down to set the location of these guys. I'm going to pull this out. Weight here is bogging me down. Okay, now I need a piece across the bottom. Let's go half that distance. Okay, get my pencil and put on our little thingy bobber here. And that gives me my little, is it focused in there? Gives me my curve to cut to. Okay. It's fit in there. Let me go ahead and tape this up, and we'll come back and I'll put another piece across the top, and then there's a final check. Well, I had to go and do this all again. When I took it out, it wasn't right, so I had to put each of the pieces back in again and tape them down to be certain that it was correct. Now I'll go ahead and gingerly take this out. Now I got my panel. It'll fit in here, this nice and tight all the way around the edge, tight enough for the fillet material to not have any great huge gaps in it. So let me go ahead and transfer this over to a piece of cardboard and one piece, and then we'll come back. Well, I've got it fitted into the transom here, and I like the size. I need to look to see how the angles are. I want, because the shear is coming up so much, I need to see whether or not, well, I'm still downhill quite a bit. That's level there, so, and the hull's setting on its water line, so I'm happy. It's coming down at a distance. It's you can see a little bit of decline, but compared with the rails, it looks a little different. But I'm going to go with this shorter distance than the longer one I have. So now I go ahead and transfer these pieces over to plywood. I've got some extra wood that I bought that I will break out now and transfer these things over and get everything cleaned up. Even with these things in here, I'm probably going to put at least one thwart in, probably behind the seat, and probably somewhere around in here, just to keep the sides from bending in. There's still a little foldy along the keel or the seam lines. So, but once these get these hatches and stuff get in, then it should improve a little bit. So we'll come back when I get the well. Let's call it. We spent a lot of time on this. I'll just call this one making cardboard templates, and we'll come back when we transfer them over to the wood panels and set them in. But I need to go get some either 6-inch or 4-inch hatches to put in these end pieces. So till then, we'll see you later.